Hello, folks, and I'm back at it like a bad motherfucking habit. What's good, y'all? Boy, oh boy, let me tell you like this. The world is turned upside down. You know, it's moving this way, that way, in all four corners of the earth. You know, Ukraine's fighting over light and darkness. Russia just took over you could say 92% of Ukraine. Because, Muslims, they talk all this crap. They tell me they live in peace, but they do a whole bunch of other crap. They kill Christians. They do a whole bunch of stuff, right? But the fact is, between Russia and Ukraine is based on silver and gold material. Everybody's throwing tantrums, pouring the vodka out. Or we're going to pour the vodka out. All the Americans and all that stuff, all these places around the world, they want to disregard Russia. They're masters. How you gonna sit there and go against your master? Because Putin is your master. So if you're in a certain degree and you in government, that's your master, right? It represents the equal status of the light, and the light shines on the people that's in darkness, and the ones that's in darkness, they like Batman, and Superman is the sun, Superman, hey, Superman, where are you? Superman is the sun, because he's the risen savior. He's saving the whole world because it needs light. And that's what Russia's doing. Everybody getting a whole big idea about why Russia is attacking Ukraine. Because Ukraine don't have gentrification. Muslims don't work. They don't like jobs. They want to sit on the fat of the land and pray to the stars and the moon, live in a sex cult, and sit there and abuse women and slave women. And that's why women in the Middle East, these Muslim countries wear masks. Obey your master. You don't believe this facts. And all Muslim men hate women. Just because they have kids on that stuff, but they hate women. Believe what I tell you. Because they in a temple. Because they all part of Judaism. And if you don't know about Judaism, like I said, the Pope and the Vatican, they all control all three religions. Judaism, Islam, and Christianity. Christianity means that you anti against the people that represents the sun. So when you see Putin, he represents the sun, the Nazis. So when you see the Nazi flag represents 90 times 4, 360 degrees of the sun. So when the sun is out, all these cults that represents the star and the moon, they can't wait until Allah comes. They can't wait until Moses come. They can't wait until Muhammad come. All these names they need by darkness. There's no such thing Muhammad, no such thing as Moses. There's no such thing as Allah. They just use the symbolic metaphors of how they look at something. So when they look at the moon, they say, "Oh, moon is Moses." Okay, yeah, that's the mother. The stars could be Muhammad, or Muhammad gives me a prophet. So the Jews and Muslims, they all the same because they're in the same core of 7 cults of Judaism. Just like Native Americans, because Native Americans are cowboys, they live by the moon. And they profit off of cow. The cow hide, the meat, the beef, everything off of cow. They profit on. That's why Muslims. Native Americans and Jewish people do not like pork. Why? Because they know that you can't profit off of pork. And 2, they hate the sun because you can't profit off the sun. Why? Because Muslims and Jews and Native Americans don't believe in agriculture. So that means that they don't have crops in the Middle East or somewhere like Afghanistan and Jordan. All these countries where you see like in Israel and in Jerusalem, they don't have no goddamn crops. Where they gonna grow crops at? It's desolated. It's dry. You can't plant seeds in a rock. You can't plant seeds in the sands. It has to be a landscape. And when you have a landscape, what happens? You can plant seeds because it has dirt. And then you have to rely on the water. So that's what goes on in Israel, Jerusalem, and all these Muslim countries. Why? Because they all living on a drought. They don't have running water. And that's why Muslims got to send their woman out there, because certain parts of the Muslim countries, that Muslim men is not allowed to walk with water or fetch for water while he's doing his duties at home, praying and teaching, getting his words prepared for his duties. So when he's going to preach to the people in his temple or his mosque or whatever the hell he is, because he could be a bisexual man. Because when you see somebody wearing an Ankh piece, I've been saying this for over 20, 30 something years, and you see an Ankh symbol, that Ankh symbol represents transgender men, fallen angels, when they want to call them, because fallen angels are transgender men, men that's bisexual, or they could be gay, or they could be home. No, I didn't say the word gay because the word gay means open. The whole LBG, they thieves. They steal a whole bunch of stuff about how they put it into in a sex cult. They don't even know what the rainbow represents. The rainbow represents rain because it was a drought in Egypt. And when you see a rainbow, that means that they're going to follow the rainbow where it rains at. So they go get a pail of water so they can bring back into the community. That's what it's all based on. It's all about symbolic metaphors. And the metaphor is based on rainbow because it's bending like a bow. But anyway, like I said, people in the Middle East, all these other countries, they all represent darkness and they can't plant no seeds. How can the moon grow crops? Crops is not going to grow when the moon is out. The crops grow is when the sun is out. So people, that's what's going on right now. It's about light and darkness. Everybody's living in the stars, constellations. Everybody want to live under the moon. The moon is sitting out there in the skies. And then everybody would be anti against the sun. So when you hear somebody say, oh, they anti against Christ, Christ is Caesar. The sun worshipers, son of gods. All these people that worship the sun. And if you did not believe into what they believe in, what the sun and how they look at the sun, because the sun is the almighty one. It's the risen savior. And it saves everything. It grows crops. It gives life in the four corners of earth. That's why life means love. Love is Love. Four corners. Just like Luke. Luke is walking across the sky because Luke Skywalker. He's walking on 12 steps because it's from 6 in the morning until 6 at night. That's when you see the sun. That's how long the sun stays out because it's 12 hours. So you say 6 times 4 equals 24. 4 plus 2 equals 6. So now you have the Muslims, the Jews, and the Native Americans. They all pray into the moon because the moon is Allah, not the sun. These people hate the sun. And why they hate the sun? Because they live in darkness. That's why they like vampires. That's why in Ukraine, you see them. You say, man, what do you mean light and darkness? Yeah, that's what they live by. Remember, the Jewish people represents the stars. That's why they wear diamonds in the sky. Why diamonds in the sky? No, diamonds is just like a star they look at, but it's just a dusty cloud. But you got the Muslims, they represent silver because it's a moon. Moon is silver. And then you got the Russians. Why you think Putin, he represent gold. If you look at the movie with Bruce Willis, Die Hard, why the Russians is going out to 33 Liberty, big shout out to them out there, the European Bank down in downtown in the financial district. Why you think they went down in the vault and trying to take the gold, which is not even near there. I'm not going to even talk about that. And when they sit there, chase out the gold because they have to pay off their debts. That's what America is. So America is being run by Russia because they represent oil and gold. And oil is usually to keep the friction of the machines, keeps everything. You could use oil in 1,000 different ways, not just to power up your vehicle. You have to use oil to keep the house warm. So when you put the oil inside the tanks, that's what people use to burn oil in their homes. Just like coal. So when you got Ukraine, they use coal. That's why you got the nuclear plants they got out there. Why they got nuclear plants? They being destroyed because it's destroying the community and they got high radiation. And that radiation is killing people off. It's facts. Because remember, a lot of Muslims do not believe in gentrification. They don't believe in making a change for the community and building up. Just like in Russia with St. Petersburg. Because that's the headquarters for a lot of people that's in these societies that's in degrees, especially in America and United States. But the fact is that United States had cut America off. China had cut America off. Everybody cut America off. Why? Because America don't have nothing to trade for but some old ass oil. That's cheap. It's not rich the same way how it is in all these other countries and stuff, in South Sudan and all these other places. Kuwait on them. We don't have the same richness as them. We don't have factories that build sneakers and shoes and T-shirts and all that stuff. We don't have the infrastructure for that. We don't have the mass of people, that's going to go out there and do the work for less, But hey, that's what they need to bring over here. Bring them people over here to show Americans this is what you have to do, and then raise the wage up. You say, oh yeah, we got to pay him $15 to $20 an hour and such whatever. Instead of them getting paid $1 an hour, And that's what they work for out there in the country because they live in their standards. See, Chinese people don't get on, and Asian people and all these people in the Caribbean don't get on welfare or food stamps. That's why they in power in America. And when they come to America, America is just it's a state of, like I said, America is like a promised land because of the Jewish people. And the Jewish people decided to go out there and go out because, the word Jew is basically, it's a call of people that speak Hebrew because Hebrew is the people. But Jews is something else that I'm not going to get into. But the fact is that a lot of people need to learn that they went around from state to state, land to land, from the 1800s. I'm talking about the 1800s. And they went from land to land. They're trying to find a place for their home. So they end up in Israel. The Lord Rothschilds and the Lord on them. They put them in position in lands. And then when they put them in certain lands, they say, okay, now we're going to go to New York. We're going to put you in Brooklyn. And then we're going to put you in Philadelphia. After that, we're going to go to Chicago. Then we're going to end up in LA. We're going to go anywhere where the democracies at. Because the democracies are the Democrats. And the Democrats are run by the Capitol building. Why do you think they got the 5 pentagram star? Because the 5 pentagram of the pointed star represents 5 o'clock at night or in the morning. So 5 o'clock at night and 5 o'clock in the morning, yeah, that's what they live by. But they live by darkness because the only way you're going to see stars until the sun leaves. So when the sun set, that's when you see the stars and the moon because the sun is Almighty One because it's the risen Savior. So just like with Superman, right? Now we got Batman movie out. Why they got a Batman movie out now? Who's Batman? People always talk about, oh, Bruce, man, you hate Batman for years since we was teenagers and all that stuff. Yeah, since we were little kids. Because I understand the symbolic metaphors. Batman represents darkness. He represents the moon. And then the stars. And he comes out. He's a stalker. He watch you when you sleep. He watch you when you wake. He got all kinds of gadgets, electronics, and all this other stuff. And he going out there trying to fight the crime and fight the bad guys when he's the bad guy. Because he's stalking your wife. Go on your webcam, you can listen to your sonar, talking to on a conversation on the phone. He's a stalker because he's a pagan. Pagans are poor people because don't believe the story about he was a rich kid, come from rich people. No, he was just a pagan that created his own ideas. He was lonely. He had no girlfriend. We don't know if he was a homosexual or whatever he is. It's a whole bunch of stuff about the symbolic metaphor about Batman because Batman's in D.C., DC's direct current, how we say it in electricity business, but DC, they always have these little stories and these deep, dark moments of government because government is a bunch of people that's called lunatics sitting in their matrix. And they all got to come up with a character for themselves because they pagans and they bunch of people that have been hurt through reality. Just like when you hear about Superman. So Superman and Batman represents light and darkness. So Superman is going around trying to give enlightenment. Just like I said with Luke, and Ra and Jesus, all these names you name about the sun is going around giving this light. And like I said, Batman is like Darth Vader because Darth Vader represents the moon, and he represents the stars because the stars is the father, they say. That's how Jewish people look at it and Greeks look at it because he are the Pitter and Patter, Jupiter. He's going out there telling Luke, you are my son. Yeah, you are my son because I am bright. I am the sun. I'm shining over everybody and everybody getting light for him. I'm bringing the trees is growing. Everything is flowing and everybody's happy because the sun is out. Oh, yeah, you the one that's going to try to block the sun because the moon is out. And when the moon comes, it's going to be a clip. And they go all fight amongst each other because they in a Star Wars. The Return of the Jedi. My favorite movies all the time. I love George Lucas and all of his old theories about, theology and astrology about the sun, moon, the stars. Because that's what it's based on, and that's what Darth Vader's main objective is. It's to block the sun. Because you can't see him coming if the sun is out and he's in a starship. And the only way you're going to see him in the dark starship, you got to be in the dark side. And that's the only way you're going to see stars in the moon. And that's why that starship said, yeah, come to me, Luke. You have anything you want. Boo, boo, boo. Blah, 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 this and that. Because he went to the dark side because he's like Judas. Judas, this thing, they talk about Judas and stuff. No, there was no such thing Judas. There was no such thing King Solomon. There was no such thing as King David. or King Arthur. It's just a symbolic metaphor based on light and darkness. And these people just living in their life and trying to find a nice place to live where it's nice and warm. That's why they go southwest. If you're in the northern eastern hemispheres, then you're gonna be having a bunch of confusion people because they don't get enough light, just like Ukrainians. So Ukrainians are sitting in their little underground tunnels, sitting there hiding, avoiding conflict, because like I said, they are Muslim countries that picked on Christians. They started it first. It's all their fault, because one live in the east and one live in the west. Like I said, in Russia, and one speaks the Russian language and one speaks the Ukrainian language. They all get along, and that's why they right next to each other. But Ukraine is not messing with Russia because Russia is a very big country, and you do not want to go to war with your masters. And if you don't obey your masters of Lucifer, Lucifer means light. There's no such thing man named Lucifer. Yeah, you probably have a cult out there called the Luciferians. Yeah, but Lucifer is the light. And when you throw up the light, all the rats and roaches is going to go underground. That's why people in Ukraine look so pale. Because they don't get enough light, no vitamin C and vitamin D, or whatever you want to call it. And when you don't get enough sun, you're not going to be dark enough. That's why they're so pale. They stay underground in their little base. And in their little base, they got the army trying to protect the goods. Whatever they hide, it could be silver, it could be gold, it could be oil, it could be coal. It could be a whole bunch of stuff that they use and resource to trade off in the maritime commerce war. So I'm going to teach you something. So in the maritime law is based on the ships. So when you put your goods on the ships, it has to be worth something. So when you put a Mercedes-Benz, BMW, Bentley, Ferrari, paintings, gold, silver, anything you shipped off from India, somewhere from Asia, China, the European countries, anywhere you could say, Canada, they all, like I said, have something to put on the ship. So in the maritime law is based on the shipyard, because I've been in this business for over 20-something years. And anybody that work with me, what I do. I'm not going to mention the company, whatever, because you get a lot of trouble for it. This is a federal policy. But the fact is that the shipyards are shut down in America because they cannot afford the goods. So they're using the oil of America and trying to trade off the goods. Or they're going to try to use the cars they have here, the Jeeps and the Chevrolets and the Pontiacs and the Fords. No one want them cars because them cars are cheap, and then anything that America have is cheap, from their technology to everything. But the only thing they traded off with is Microsoft and Apple and Tesla. These are the only three companies, like I said, is taking over the world for America. Even though Tesla, they start overseas, all that other stuff, but the fact is that America don't have nothing to trade for. And their infrastructure is so broken to a point that they can't even do nothing. It's like, what can you do when you don't have money? You can't make no moves. Government is broke. The Bar Association is broke. If you don't know about the Bar Association of registration people and the British, I forgot the initials again. But anyways, the British registration people, they bankrupt. Universities are bankrupt from government. So if you got a college degree, right? Just like I said with the Bar Association, is based on the law system. So if you're a lawyer, attorney, whatever you have, you're in the law system, a judge, whatever, you defunded. So that means you can't, whatever someone trying to get prosecuted, they can't prosecute nobody right now because they bankrupt. Government is done with. Because the rabbis of the Hebrew Foundation are bankrupt. They can't afford to pay their judges, whatever, because rabbi means bar, backwards. Because remember, Hebrew is backwards. And everything I'm telling you is the opposite to what you see. That's what we teach in BKS. But they don't believe in that. They represent Satanism. Because Satan is darkness. It don't mean a man named Satan, all that stuff. No, it means darkness. That's what they call saint. Oh, it's nighttime. Yeah, it's a saint night. Yeah, that's what it is. It means saint. Saint means the darkness, the moon, the stars. That's why Jewish people love the moon and the stars. The lunar. That's why they have a lunar calendar. What's the day? Today is Saturday. And Saturday represents Saturn. You gotta know this stuff, what they represent. They go down into their Mars. Or I said Mars. They go down to they synagogues, because sin is the moon. That's what it means. S-I-N. That's why you have the sin of gods. Mount Sinai. S-I-N, represent the moon, because the only way you're gonna see the mountains is at night, especially when the mountain is so high that you can see the peak of the sun. Sometimes, or you can see the moon. It reflects off the moon because it has the snow. That's when you look at it, you're like, man, how come the mountain is glowing? Because that's the only way you're gonna see like a volcano. That's why you got volcano cults. They up there in Mount Sinai, and Mount Sinai represents the volcano cult. Like I said, the Vulcan. Star Trek. And that's with the fire in the sky. It's a whole bunch of names for the volcano. But the fact is that all these people, like I said, they all out here trying to figure out how they're gonna fight against light and darkness. What government is gonna do. They have no money. I've been telling people this for thousands of years. Gold is used to fight war. That's what it's used for. Just like the movie John Wick. Because these people made blood oaths. And when you make blood oaths, guess what happens? Then you have to face the consequences with your masters. Because your master is going to shine on you into all the bad things that you've done to the society because you turn your back against them. That's why it's called iniquity. But the fact is, people need to wake up and realize that it's based on light and darkness. Russia represents gold because gold is the sun. The Muslims represent silver because silver is the moon. The Jewish people represents the star. The star is the diamonds. Diamonds, silver, and gold. And back in the days, if you didn't have that, you couldn't cross the gallows pole. What you gonna trade for? Oh yeah, I got these diamonds here. Okay, I take that. Blah blah blah, this and that. Whoa, whoa, whoa. And, oh yeah, what else you have? Oh yeah, I got something else here, some other material. Well, we don't want that. We just want the diamonds. You can leave now. I know you came on a long journey, so go back to your home. And this is what they go through. Because remember, Jewish people cannot make a move until the Lord say. Know that. This is how they got saved. They got saved, not chosen. And I told my rabbi friends, Jewish friends, they understand that. And big shout out to my boy Ben, been my best friend for 20-something years. And he be talk about this all the time. And he never get offended or nothing like, oh, we talking bad about us people. No, never. We all agree with each other because he understands the knowledge behind his history, about what they went through and stuff. And that's what the whole Bible, the King James Bible and all that stuff that's being written, it's all based on them. Why? Because they rebel. Rebellions against the people that represent the sun, Caesar, their master. And that's why they have degrees. 32 degree and 33 degree. The 33 represents the 6, 3 plus 3 equals 6, and 3 plus 2 equals 5. 5 o'clock at night, 6 o'clock in the evening. 5 o'clock in the evening, 6 o'clock at night. It's about to go into night. So they believe in sundown to sundown, not sun up to sun up. So anybody who represents the sun is considered as Christ. Christians, Crisco, all the names that you could come up with Christ. Christ is Ra, Horus, whole bunch of names that you come up with. Abraham, they got a whole bunch of names. Amish, why do you think we got Amish people? Because Amish people need the sun. They all come from Egypt. And Solomon, King Solomon, S-O-L, Om. That's why Hindus represents the sun. They call themselves Christians, but they ain't a sex magic because Om, the sun, Om, they do a bunch of chants with the sun when it comes out. Om, that's how they do it. You ever hear a Hindu do it? I see it all the time. And then they say on, O-N. The sun is on. That's what it means. The heat is on. The heat is on. But the fact is, man, it's based on light and darkness. That's what it's all about. Batman and Superman. And then you got Iron Man. Iron Man think he could fight against Caesar. Thanos. Because Thanos took away his pride and joy, his stones. The 5 elements. Because the 5th element is based on with the power. Fire. Air. Water. Earth. Because Earth is matter. We walk on Earth because it's matter. That's what it is. We deal with the fire because fire is hell. We got to deal with the hell with the people and all that stuff. And then fire was used back in the days to keep themselves warm because they seeking to seek for light. Because just like disciples, the word disciple means looking for a teacher to enlighten them. That's what it means. It's like you're looking for somebody to teach you something because you're following the sun. And the sun is so bright as in enlightening you. That's what it mean. That's what disciple mean. But the fact is that air is controlled by Satan, air frequencies. That's what the frequencies out here in the air. They control the NASA. You got NASA. That's Satanism, because that's what it is. Satan is Latin. So anybody that's a Latin person, you remove the S, it's going to say Latin. Believe this is facts. I've been saying this for over 30 to 20 years, and people look at me like, ha, 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 Bruce, because y'all use these words, y'all think it's bad. And that's when you got the devil, air. That's why they say, oh, the devil's hot. The air is so hot, you can't even breathe and all that stuff. And the devil gives you a devilish grin. That's why we have the news. What they doing with the news? They sitting and both of them sitting side by side. The devil and Satan. One tell you one thing, and the other tell you one thing. One gives you enlightenment, smile. Oh, she's so beautiful. She got a devilish grin. She has a tail because in certain countries, the sun is red, not orange. And how we look at it, the sun is actually red. Some people don't know that, not yellow or whatever it is, but it's red because it's the devil. That's what they mean. It's so devilish looking. Red Robin Hood. That's what the whole metaphor is based on. The Red Robin Hood is red because it's so cold outside that she needs the sun during the wintertime. If you don't believe this fact, during the wintertime, look at the sun. It's red. It looks yellow, but in certain countries it's red. And that's when the wolves come out, because it's so cold, the wolves will go, because she's in the mountains and it's so goddamn hot, cold that she need heat. And when she get in the home and she lays down in the bed, there's a wolf in her bed because it's wolfing. It has nothing to do with a wolf coming after you, whatever it is. No, the wolves is out in the mountains, and they know that when the wolves is out at night, you need something to keep you warm. That's when the sun set. She got to get home before the sun set. And that's what the whole Red Robin Hood thing is based on. The three little pigs, the stars. Just like the seven dwarfs, the stars, they call it. But anyway, like I said, man, people need to wake up. Everything's about theology. Just like Cosby. Bill Cosby came out with a show called The Cosby Show. He had a son named Theo because he's giving theology, because he sent him to the university, because the university is a bunch of people, lunatics, creating weapons and all kinds of disaster stuff. You don't believe this is facts? Because that's what they go to universities for, to create weapons. And a weapon could be the new technology to destroy this world, wipe up your bank account, all kinds of stuff. They do a whole bunch of weapons, creating a whole bunch of weapons to destroy the people that's not part of universities. And the universities are over with. They defund it. And that's why Bill Cosby is a cancer, because cancers live by the moon. He lives in darkness. He lives by deceiving and doubtness. That's why cancers like to doubt. I doubt it. You ever hear cancer talk like that? Like, man, shut the fuck up. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. You doubt it. You doubt yourself. That's why cancers never succeed in life. They live by this follower. They want everybody to follow them into darkness. Anybody that follow cancer, you're going to lead in darkness because they live in compel of a shell. What I mean by compel a shell, that means they are hermits. So if you don't know what a hermit is a crab. They sit and they bet. Bet means home in Hebrew. It's fact. Just like Scorpios, they hermits. Just like Leos, they hermits. Just like Libras, they hermits. They don't go out. That's why they don't like walking. They love to be in a car or whatever it is. They don't walk a lot. Because, like I said, people live in darkness. They live under the moon call, because in July, that's the moon season. That's why you had Summer of Sam. He was going out there knocking people off, But back to the 5 pentagram star. Like I said, air, water, earth, fire, and your space. So whatever's in your mind, you spaced out. It's like your the satellites in the galaxy. And that's what it's like. So your mind is like the satellites, because you're getting all your information from Satan. And he's going to put it on TV. And that's what the movie Get Out is based on. You're sitting in the front of the couch, sitting there deceiving your mind, because you're taking heed to everything you see on the news. And the news of Satanism represent Latin, because Latin loves drama. And they love to control the frequency in the air. And they hate cold weather. They love warm weather. That's why all South Americans love warm weather, because they live by witchcraft. It's facts. That's why Haitians, Dominicans, Puerto Ricans, they all live by witchcraft, because it represents Satanism. But it is facts. They're all pagans living in the mountains. Poor people means pagans in Latin. Yep. I'll see you guys later, and I'm gone.